Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much for taking the time to do this interview.
Thank you. Thank you for doing it. Thanks for the opportunity, man. I have a question. Have we met before?
Yes, we have. Back when you were playing with, I believe it was Night Rage back in Minnesota, you actually got me on the guest list for that show.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Dude, I just saw your name. I'm like, wait, I know this dude. Cool, man.
And it's been a while since that show, but obviously you've been a part of a lot of things since that tour happened. And now it's great to see. With last year, you were able to finally have NorthTale come to full fruition with the first LP with Welcome to Paradise.
Yeah, man. It's been a long road for sure. You know what I mean? Night Rage. What? When was that? 2011.
Yeah.
So since then, I've done Circle to Circle, John Oliva, Trans-Siberian Orchestra, Doro, Udo Dirk Schneider. I've done a lot, but one thing I didn't do was my music. You know what I mean? It was always like, wow, I have this great career. I played everywhere that I dreamed. I've done everything. I was in every magazine, but I've never put out one of my songs, not even one. Nobody knows me, what I really actually sound like. So I started with this idea of putting out music that was completely free of any market expectations or anything. Just what would I write if I was to write the album that I want to listen to by another band? Like what would I want to hear from another band? And I was also being very honest because that's what I grew up listening to. Like I wanted the album to come out and be like, okay, well, I could have bought this in 1998. And I think that's sort of what happened. Like I think the result of the album was exactly what I personally wanted it to be, and luckily some people liked it too. But it was a very selfish, very much a passion project.
And it's great to be able to see that actually did happen that way too. I mean, considering everything that you can play, so many different styles, you've worked with so many great musicians, either in the studio or on stage or in any capacity. I mean, the fact that you actually took some time for yourself and wanted to be able to show off what you could do with a songwriter, and of course being able to bring on some of the best musicians to be able to work with you and be a part of this band.
Yeah, man, I was very lucky about that. I have to say, because for something that started as a solo project to end up with a lineup like that was pretty crazy. And it was good, man. It's been a blast. The only shows that we've done, we've only done one show in Sweden at Sabaton Open Air, and two in Japan. But I mean, it felt like we had been a band for 25 years. It was amazing. So I'm really happy with the result, man, and we're definitely gonna push forward. I'm looking forward to a new album now.
Oh, so cool. When you were first starting to write this album, obviously you wanted to be able to write an album that you wanted to be able to enjoy if another band was putting it out. So when you were finding the right people to be able to put this band together, put this album together, what was it like for you being able to decide who you wanted to be a part of this band?
Yeah, well, I had two songs, namely Shape Your Reality and If Angels Are Real. I had those two songs for a couple of years. Actually, let me open a parenthesis here. See, you're from Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
So, did you know Adam Sagan?
Oh, one of my best friends.
If Angels Are Real is for him. It's about him.
Yeah.
So, what happened was, I was writing that song. At the time, I didn't have a band. I didn't have anything. I was just writing the song. And then Mary Zimmer, who's now in Helium Prime, she might have introduced me and Adam, or Adam introduced me and her. I don't remember what the story was, but Mary told me that they were taking Adam out of life support, and I kind of went nuts. I was working at the song when that happened, so the lyrics were just like spilled out of me in like a minute. It was losing that guy, because he was in Circle to Circle at the time. He wasn't just my best friend. He was also touring the world, actively touring with me. So we were together all the time, and that was a pretty hard hit. And the lyrics just kind of came out of me, instantly. And anyway, to bring it back to the subject. I had those 2 songs, and for a long time I tried to find a singer to sing them. And I tried many people. I tried some famous people even, and nobody seemed to be able to just nail it. It was always like, yeah, he's really good, but he's really good, but he's really good, but, and I kind of just put it in the back burner. So that's until someone showed me Twilight Force, and I was like blown away by the singer. I was like, this is the guy I need. And I figured, we'll probably never run into each other. He's Swedish and all that. But, I added him on Facebook, and long story short, we ended up working together. And when he sent me the first couple of demos of those songs, I was like, okay, I don't even need to talk to anybody else. This is the guy, And he brought in Patrick. Now, Patrick and I had already jammed before. Patrick, having played with Yngwie Malmsteen, I was always kind of looking up to him. And I met him at NAMM many times, and we played together many times. So, it was... Christian said that Patrick wanted to be in the band with him, and I'm like, oh, let's bring him in, So that was Patrick. And then Jimmy Pitts and I had worked together before with Vitaly Kupri, who's the keyboard player for Trans-Siberian Orchestra and Ring of Fire. We were his band, so I remembered him from that. I'm like, oh, that guy is about as good as Vitaly. Just talk to him, And he was in. And then Christian brought our bass player, Michael Pronefeld. They had gone to school. Oddly enough, the 2 Swedish guys had gone to school in America together, and that was it. So with the lineup, with that lineup, I started writing the music and just throwing it to them. And every time I got a new demo back with someone playing on them, I was like, oh my God, this is the right guy. This is the right guy. This is the right guy. And it just worked like that. It was very organic. So even though we didn't record together in the same place, it was very organic, the way the band was started.
And it's so great to hear that, too, because the album really does have that great organic feel to it. I mean, it feels like everyone that is a part of this band was meant to be there, playing everything the way that it was meant to be. And the final product is just incredible. And, along with that as well, I mean, the fact that you really did write If Angels Are Real for Adam, I mean, it's just, that's so amazing that you were able to do that, because Adam touched so many people's lives. He heavily touched mine, and I know he has around the world and everything, and it's just great to be able to see that you did make a tribute for him.
Yeah, man, that was my tribute. And the funny thing is, I know he would hate the song. You know what I mean? I know he would hate it, because that was one of the things we had, I was always a power metal fan, but him and I were always involved in things that were not power metal. So, and we lived together with Brian from By the Remains for a while. So it was the 2 death metal guys ganging up on me, so I know that Adam would have hated the song. But, it was the most honest tribute that I could do,
Oh,
totally.
Yeah, and...
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and just getting back into it, again, just just hearing how organic this album is and just the way that it came together. I mean, I never would have guessed that this wasn't recorded in the studio and all of you were there. I mean, the fact that you were, oceans apart from each other, being able to write and record this album, I mean, it's incredible to see how organic it came from that experience.
We did some things. We did certain things that we knew that would make it sound a little more organic. For example, drums. We didn't want to program drums. We didn't want to. There's some sound replacing, but it's little, especially compared to other power metal records. The sound of the drums is pretty much the drums we recorded, and so we were very, very adamant about that. Also, I recorded my guitars with a Kemper, like everybody else, and then I started listening to it and hating it. So I went back and redid everything with a real amp with a friend of mine. What else? But yeah, I think it's about it. Also, as far as editing goes, I started when I was producing the guitars. I started making everything very perfect. And then it started boring me, so I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go and record a different take. And if there's a little bit of imperfection, that's fine. I did that. I did that on purpose. But I have to give credit where credit is due, man. Like Jonas Kjellgren, I think you say Kjellgren. He mixed and mastered and edited the album, and his work was fantastic. Like, I couldn't believe, because also it's a lot of different sessions, because the drums were done in 3 different sessions, and every time we did it, we had to build the drums again. So the 3 different sessions don't sound alike. The drums don't sound the same, but somehow Jonas made it work. Obviously he did the latest Sabaton album, so and that's a huge bestseller. It's obvious that the guy is great. But I was very impressed with how he got different drum sessions and put those together into a cohesive thing. And then, to blow my mind a little bit further, he mixed our live track that's on the video. I'm not sure if you saw that, but it sounds incredible. And everybody asks me if it's redone in the studio, and it's not. It's just incredibly mixed by this guy, So it's... we tried. It was a very conscious effort from, I think, everybody to make it sound more organic. No auto-tune in the vocals, stuff like that,
Oh, yeah, and again, I'm just so glad to see you take that approach. And yeah, I mean, the fact that wasn't re-recorded and that was the actual take of it, I mean, that's just insane thinking about that. I mean, with the tone that was able to come out of that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it was all Jonas, That guy is ridiculous.
And, obviously with that in mind, I mean, with Welcome to Paradise, I mean, that already came back all the way back in August 2019, and I can only imagine that after you were finally able to have that first album in your hands, and you were able to know that you were able to put out an album of your own music for the first time, I imagine you were chomping at the bit to start writing for the next album.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, but we started writing for the next album, and but honestly, a lot of stuff wasn't good. Like I scrapped like 6 songs that I was like, this is just the same song rehashed again. That's one phenomena that I just discovered that I know every musician does. It's the first time I'm writing my second album, so I'm like, this is just that song. This is just that song rehashed. That happened quite a bit. But I've taken, as far as the new album goes, I'm taking an approach that's like, in Welcome to Paradise, I was very much, as I said at the beginning, I was very much trying to sound like 96, okay? Well, with better production, but I was trying to sound like it was done in 96. Now I kind of want to put a little bit of my own personality. I want to be like, okay, that first album is what my idols sounded like, and that's me emulating them. Now this is me trying to do the same thing with a little bit of my own flavor, so to speak. I'm gonna bring in classical influences, but as cliche as that sounds, there will be a lot more orchestrations. But we're not going to try to compete with Twilight Force or or any other band that's like that. We're gonna have orchestrations like sort of the same way we have on the first album, like as classical citations. Like Welcome to Paradise, the end has the Mozart part. I'm gonna have a lot of that. A lot more of that because I did study classical music in school, and I don't, honestly, ever since I stopped going to school, I stopped doing it. You know what I mean? So I wanted to bring a little bit of that back, and also some Brazilian regional influences from my own culture that I think I've neglected so much. My favorite Angra album is Holy Land, and one of the reasons that album stands out is the use of Brazilian original music. Melodies and harmonies, and the Lydian minor 7th mode, stuff like that. So I want to bring all that into our music this time, but still retain the fast songs, the happy choruses. That it's not going anywhere. I hate when power metal bands do that. They do like 1 or 2 very happy sounding albums, then on the 3rd one they start to get progressive and they start to get heavier, and then by the 4th album they have growls and stuff. Well, I'm not going to go down that road, but I'm certainly going to try to expand on what I did on the first album, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah, and that's got me so excited too. I mean, being able to have more of your influences, more of the orchestration, being able to take more of an influence like from Angra's Holy Land, which I think it was coming up on 5 years ago now. I was able to see that at Prague Power USA, and it was just phenomenal being able to see that album from start to finish. And yeah, I would love to be able to see what you can do now, being able to have more of your inspiration and more of what makes you a guitarist and a musician into the next albums going forward.
That's exactly what I'm trying to do, man. You know, if you like Holy Land, by the way, I would suggest you go on YouTube. Look up a show from 1996 of them doing that in Brazil. I was at that show. I was a kid. I was like 12 or 13. Dude, that's what that lineup of Angra did back then hasn't been done since, you know. And that's kind of what I want to sort of bring into my music. It's not really the Angra influence. It's really the Brazilian influence that they used. You know, I'm going to drink from the same fountain, essentially. So to speak. Dude, check out that show. It's insane. I watched it the other day, maybe a month ago. I'm like, wow, I was at that show and I didn't realize it was that fucking amazing. I don't think I even understood at the time what I was watching, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that is just so cool. I mean, when you are able to look back at something like that, especially when you were there and it was recorded and you're able to look back at one of those shows and, you know, just seeing, yeah, I mean, just like you said, like, you might not have been able to appreciate it as much at the time, but being able to look back and appreciate the production, the songs, being able to see some of the best musicians from Brazil being able to put on such an incredible album live. I mean, the fact that you got to be there and you still get to go back and watch it anytime you want to, that's such a cool thing to be able to do.
Dude, I love YouTube, man, like, because of that, you know. Especially in these times of quarantine, I've been watching show after show and stuff that I knew existed, but I never really watched, you know. It's cool. Like, another example of this, of going back, is a little bit different, but I was not a fan of King Diamond and Merciful Fate as a kid. You know, I've learned to appreciate King Diamond's music after I got older, if that makes sense. But I did see both King Diamond and Merciful Fate back to back in Brazil in 1996, opening for Halloween. And actually, they weren't opening for Halloween; they were playing the same festival before Halloween. And I saw both shows, and I didn't really like it. I was very, very put off by the vocals. You know, I did not appreciate what he was doing, and I spent the entire time that the two bands were playing just hanging around. It was a stadium show, so I was just hanging around trying to find food or whatever, you know, because I wanted to see Halloween. Anyway, I saw this video the other day from that show where I was, and I'm like, dude, I'm an idiot. How did I miss this? You know, I'm like, I was there. The band is killer. Andy LaRocque. I mean, I missed it. They were playing, you know, playing a badass show. I was there, and I missed it because I was put off by the vocals, you know. So now I watch it on YouTube, the show that I saw 20 years ago. You know, I love that, man. I love being able to do that.
Oh, it really is amazing how it works like that. I mean, again, you know, like the miracle that is YouTube being able to just go back at any time and look back at those shows. But you know, it's great to be able to see like how your taste can change as you get older. I mean, obviously with King Diamond, I can understand how falsettos can be off-putting to a lot of people. But if you do start to appreciate it at some point, and especially when you're able to go back to something like '96 era King Diamond and Merciful Fates, and being able to see those shows even in the live setting, I mean, it's just incredible to see that on video, let alone being there.
Yeah, man. It's I think I'm old enough now that I can say I've seen a lot of these things, you know. What did I say to a friend of mine the other day? He's like, wow, did you see that? Like, well, I mean, I saw Blind Guardian on the first tour that Hansi was not playing bass. So I didn't see him playing bass, but I saw the first time he did not, you know. I saw like Stradivarius Destiny tour, Visions. I saw Stradivarius Visions tour, you know, Hammerfall Legacy of Kings. I saw that. I saw Dream Theater playing Change of Seasons. Man, yeah, I'm getting old. But now I just go back and watch these shows now. You know, it just seems like such a long time ago. It's crazy.
Oh, again, that's just incredible. I mean, you were able to see so many great bands and in such a great area of the world that really does appreciate good metal. And you were able to see all of these great, amazing bands being able to put on such amazing performances.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it was off-putting to me when I moved to America and I saw that it wasn't like that. You know what I mean? That was very strange. Like a very big band to me growing up was Sabotage, you know. And obviously at this point I got to play the Wacken show with them. I got to work with them and all that. I mean, they become friends, but growing up they were my heroes. You know, I had posters of them and all that. They played that same festival actually that I just told you about, Merciful Fate, the year after. And when I got here to the U.S. and I saw John Oliva Spain playing for 30 people, that was the craziest thing to me. You know, I'm like, wait a second, I just saw this guy at a stadium, you know, and here he was playing at this bar. You know, that was in Brazil, metal, especially power metal, got really, really big at that time. Not anymore, but back then, man, it was crazy, you know.
Yeah, and that reminds me of when I first started going to shows, and the first time I went to a non-stadium show, it was for Iced Earth, and I was just so excited, and I was just thinking it was just going to be like this grand show that was going to be happening, and just so many people were going to be there, and I didn't really know what to expect, but I just knew it was going to be crazy. But then I showed up to Station 4, and of course, with you playing Station 4 as much as you have, it's like, oh, I didn't realize bands actually that I cared about actually played a venue like this.
Yeah. Was Ralph in the band at that time?
He was, yes.
Oh, man. Hell yeah, dude. That was my other best friend that I lost, and he helped me write the Adam song, and then he passed away. Fuck, it sucks. But he was a badass at that time in Iced Earth and all that. I've never seen, like, when I met Ralph, he was already towards the end of his life, and he wasn't doing that good, you know. But when I see videos from him in Iced Earth or him in DSI, it's like, fuck, that guy was a badass at the time. I missed it.
Oh. And, you know, it's just, yeah. I think it's a great thing that you were able to be a part of so many great people's lives, whether, you know, it's sadly people who passed like Ralph, like Adam, but, you know, it's just like you were able to be a part of their lives at some point and be able to have that great musical connection, either writing songs with them, being able to be on stage together, being able to, you know, just hang out with them. I mean, the fact that you were able to have so many people that you can call on in the music world and have those kind of relationships is incredible to see.
I feel very lucky, man, and that's something that comes up a lot. You know, a lot of people say that. I really don't have an explanation, but it happens. You know, I feel very lucky in that regard. When I worked with Udo Dirk Schneider, we did a lot of festivals, you know, in Europe, and every time we show up to a festival, all these bands will have someone that's friends with me. So that started becoming a joke, you know, like Udo was like, oh, let me guess, you're good friends with Bill. Oh yeah, actually, he said that to Jeff Scott Stodo, like, oh, let me guess, you're friends with Bill. Oh yeah, actually, yeah, I'm looking for Bill. You know, I don't know how it happens, man, but it does, you know, like I guess I'm attracted to people that think alike. I don't know.
Well, you know, whatever the reason is, you know, it's just, you know, the fact that you have such an incredible ability to be able to write songs, play music, so many different styles of music, and able to connect with so many people through music, musicians, fans, everyone involved with that. I mean, it's incredible to see that you are able to keep that up and continue to keep going with that, and obviously bringing things back around here when it comes to NorthTale, being able to show your personality now and being able to go forward with that.
Yeah, man. And I really appreciate you and, you know, the publications that have been covering us because, you know, as a new band, it's really fucking hard, you know. We may have all the names or whatever, but at the end of the day, it's still a new band, you know. So it's really hard to do, and I appreciate you know, you're having me and raising awareness of the band, especially in the U.S. We need it. You know, we played Europe, we played Japan, but we're set to play Prague Power if that happens, you know. But we've never played here, so it's good that we get to talk about it.
Oh, and I'm very glad to be able to do it for that reason. And, you know, with that again, you know, like, thank you for taking the time to be able to do it, being able to talk about everything that's going on in your world. And, of course, with NorthTale being released last year through Nuclear Blast, if anyone hasn't been able to check out Welcome to Paradise, I highly recommend it. It's just an incredible heavy metal album from start to finish, and I can't wait to see what you're going to be doing in the future. Yeah,
man. I hope we can stay in touch. I'll send you, you know, the new stuff as soon as it's available.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, I'd love to be able to check that out.
Yeah, man. And thank you for having. Well, I don't know. Is this the end? I don't even know.
Well, I know it's a press day going on for you and stuff, but it's just about the top of the hour. So yeah, I think it's probably a good idea to let you go now. But again, thank you very much for taking the time to do this. It was great to be able to catch up again. Can't wait to show off this interview. And again, thank you for your time.
Absolutely, man. Take care. And for your listeners, check out Welcome to Paradise by NorthTale if you haven't. And thank you so much, man. Take care.